Well, hello, welcome to the DIY Homefront, and today I'm on somebody else's home front. We've got a friend and the AC unit in her house is not working. This time of year where I live, some weeks you're using the heater, the next you're using the AC. And when she toggles back and forth between the AC and the heat, it just seems like the unit doesn't want to work sometimes. So we're headed over to her house for a real world problem to see if we can't fix the AC unit. So I have arrived, and the only thing I know for sure is that she was wanting to put the heat on and that it won't do anything. So let's go check it out. Well, before I do anything, I'm going to check a couple things. I'm going to make sure that the circuit breaker for the AC unit is turned off. And here you can see this 25 amp circuit breaker is in the off position. Well, thanks for watching this video, and just a spoiler alert, the AC's fixed before I leave. So just like when your computer acts up, one thing you want to do is turn it off and let it reset. Now I'm going to go find the outside unit and we'll see if any circuit breakers are thrown outside. Well, here is the outside AC unit, and I'm just looking to see if there's anything obviously wrong here. It doesn't look like it's covered with debris. It doesn't look like there's any ice on anything or anything's out of shape. And I shouldn't have said a circuit breaker outside. What you end up having is a cutoff switch. So that way, if you're working on the unit outside, nobody can turn the electricity on inside and electrocute you while you're outside and don't know it. But that's what this box is, and what's inside of it is that device. And we're not digging into this outside unit at the moment, so we don't need to worry about cutting the power to it anyway. So let's go back inside. Well, here is the inside thermostat, and I'm sort of surprised it still has power because we got the circuit breaker turned off. But on this particular model, it actually has batteries in it, so that way it keeps the settings if you do lose power. And you can see they are right here. But if your thermostat doesn't have batteries, don't worry about it. The one I have at home doesn't either. It's got a little thing that says directions. Well, if we're going to give it a few minutes, let's read these directions. To select off, heat, emergency cool, and auto. Change the temperature setting. Press the up and down to adjust the current setting. How about that? I never knew it had a service reminder message, but it looks like we press and hold the up and down arrow together for 3 seconds to reset a service reminder message. Well, that's another feature that mine doesn't have, but let's go ahead and turn the circuit breaker on and power this back up. So here we are at the unit, and you can see it is set to auto and it's in the cool mode, and it's set at 65 degrees cool to that, and currently it is 75 degrees. So it is definitely not working, is it? Let's see if we can get the fan to circulate. Now it should only take a few seconds before the fan cuts on. And if it doesn't do it by 30 seconds, then there's a problem. And there is no fan either. Let's turn it off. I wonder how we get the cooling off. Well, I'll go ahead and change it to the heating mode, and we'll set the temperatures for 78 degrees and see if the heater actually comes on or if it still does nothing. We might even be able to hear something happen in the thermostat if we listen close enough. Now that was probably a mercury switch inside of this thermostat. Well, it's showing going to auxiliary heat, fan only, but it's still not doing anything. Well, there are no service message reminders on the unit, but I'm going to go ahead and reset it by holding the up and down arrow keys on the temperature, like the directions said. Well, I don't really think this is going to change anything, but I just want to cover all the bases. Now, I did something else, and I did it off camera. I called up the female friend that lives here, and it turns out that she wasn't changing it to heat. She was just changing the temperature while it was in the cool mode, which means I only need to troubleshoot a cooling problem, not a heating problem, or not a changing from cooling to heating problem. Now, I have no idea how old these batteries are, and I don't have a voltmeter with me to check the voltage on them, but I'm going to go ahead and replace these batteries and eliminate that from having any ability to be a problem. Mode 2, cool. Once again, you can hear this clicking. Well, let's do a quick recap. All right, I've checked everything I can think I can check, at least the easy stuff. I replaced the batteries in the thermostat and that didn't do anything. I turned the whole system off for a while and then turned it back on and that didn't reset anything. Went outside and checked the unit and didn't see anything. Checked inside, didn't see anything. So all I've really done is not seen much. So the last thing to check would be some safety features. Now the last unit that we had, at one point the drain clogged up and it overflowed and it caused some damage to the floor. And when this new unit was installed, they added some updated safety features that turn the system off in case the drain line gets clogged up. So let's check those out, okay? Now this is the space underneath the air conditioning unit. And I don't know if you can tell it or not, but it's got a metal drain pan. And over here in the corner is a switch. And what happens is if it fills up with water, this goes up and it trips that switch and it turns the AC off. So that's if the drain pan's full. There's also a water line that removes any of the humidity that was in the air, and that's what this is. And here is the safety switch, and you can see the wires that run to it right here. And it should be the same way. It's just got a little plunger right here, and if the plunger's up, that means it's full of water and it turns the AC system off. And if it's not full of water, it drops. Oh my goodness. It can't be that easy, can it? The fan has started blowing up, sounds like. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that is full of water. I bet you the drain line somewhere is clogged up. And this is a very common problem where we live, where there's so much humidity in the air. And this pipe runs across the home and then outside and then drains on the ground. But you can get algae that builds up in it over time and it will clog it up and then it just doesn't drain anymore. Well, now I'm outside next to the unit and that is the drain line right there. And I probably need to cut the end of it off, but I don't have any tools, so I'm gonna have to go get something. I think our problem is this long flat spot right here. That's gonna be full of water, and over time, algae is gonna grow in it and just clog it up. I imagine the humidity finally just got high enough that it could not get enough water out, and that's why it ended up tripping the safety circuit. Well, I went to the hardware store and got two tools. One was a PVC cutter, and that's the tool with the red handles. And the other one was a long little slender rod that you can stick into a drain pipe to try to unclog it. It's really made for bathroom sinks where you're trying to get the hair out of a sink, but it'll work the same way. And here you can see the water is finally starting to drain some out of this pipe, and all that white nasty stuff is the junk that came out of the pipe. Well, I don't have any film of what I did for the next 30 minutes, but I'll tell you what I did. The neighbor helped out and he had a wet and dry shop vac that we ended up connecting to that pipe outside. And I poured 2 gallons of water in the hole while he vacuumed, and it is no longer holding any water at all in there. So I'll put this cover on there. That's just an access cover, and I'll go ahead and put the safety switch back in there. And you can see the pan did work like it was supposed to. Well, there you go. We figured out the problem. So that means no service call, which means money saved. Can't argue with that. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, check out my playlist, and I'll see you in that next episode.